Auburn versus Alabama. It is final now. Your final score 90-85. The Alabama Crimson Tide take down the Auburn Tigers in overtime in Coleman Coliseum. We're going to talk about all the stats, the reactions, the storylines, and the feelings about this game right here. Well, welcome back to the show, whether you are a member of the Auburn family, or I'm sure tonight, however you're watching this, a member of whatever you call yourselves in the Alabama fan base. I'm sure you guys are all running in here right now or afterwards. That's just how those things go. Welcome to the show, however you got here. If you're part of the Auburn family, E2C Network family, thank you so much for being here. This can be your post-game therapy session if you would like for it to be. We appreciate you hanging out with us. A couple of things you can do to help us get started tonight. Make sure you start off by smashing that like button. It does help the stream out, helps people know that we're live. If you're watching on YouTube, you can do that. If you're watching on Facebook, you can do that. If you're watching over on the other social media platforms that we broadcast this to, all those things help us out. But use this as your check-in period to post where you're watching from, city, state, international. Post all that right now. We'd love to know who's here hanging out with us talking about this particular game. So our normal order of operations, right, is to talk through, obviously, storylines that I particularly picked out, but also your particular things as well that you want to talk about. There's so much to talk about. So much to talk about. Oh my goodness. Again, a game that Auburn had in hand. Again, a game that Auburn should have won. A game that Auburn took supposedly one of the best teams down to the wire. Again, had to take overtime on their home court to beat us, to get their nets cut down, all those different things. So all those things are on the table to discuss tonight. People fouling out, people running on the court, getting ejected, injuries. I mean, there's just too much to really dive in tonight. So I'm going to lean into you guys to really talk about this, some of this stuff, and then we'll hit some of those stats and stuff as we go throughout this. Now, I will say, if you want to get your comment on the stream tonight, the best thing to do is to behave and be a good human. That's for Alabama fans and some Auburn fans alike. Let's see. Up by 12. 12 just to lose like that continues to be heartbreaking. As I've continued to say, Devin, this entire season, just this short, this team has been this close to just putting that last little bit together, and it just cannot find it. And the clock has struck midnight. Not meaning that it has passed midnight, but it has struck midnight, meaning you got to beat Tennessee. You just got to. There's people that'll still put Auburn in the tournament, but you've got to beat Tennessee at this point. I will say Auburn continues to show that they can be competitive with just about anyone outside of Kentucky and Rupp Arena. So that is one thing that they have in their corner. The also thing they have in their corner is how Auburn's non-conference schedule and SEC conference has performed in rankings and all those other different things. Are we even alive right now? We are alive. We are alive, and we are here trying to manage through this situation. I wouldn't say they played dirty. They played typical Alabama basketball. Nothing surprises me, to be honest with you, with that. But that's what's going to happen in a rivalry game like this. I don't make any excuses about them playing dirty or things like that. They got 3 guys ejected, 2 players, 1 coach, right? Anybody clarify that for me? So we saw them get the consequences of their actions tonight. And really, again, this just comes down to not refs, not Alabama. This comes down to Auburn not handling its business at the end of the game. That's really what it is. And in some ways, that's a very frustrating thing, but it's also a very liberating thing, because it's one thing to be a bad team that just can't beat anybody, but Auburn's not a bad team. They're just not good at finishing, which by some people will argue that makes you not a good team. We can go round about all of that all you want, but yeah. Thanks for checking in, Brian. Good to see you in Minnesota. Hope you're all warm up there. Bama's not winning the championship. Wouldn't be surprised if they got that far. Would be surprised if they got that far in term. I don't know, Devin. Look, I know we're all saucy right now. I know we're all a little upset. I get it. Look, I'm going to give credit where credit is due here. Alabama's a good team. I don't think they are the best team in the nation, but they are one of the best, and anybody can get hot at the right time. So I'm going to give them credit where credit is due, but not too much. All I know is it took overtime for you to beat us for your regular season tournament, a regular season title. I will just continue to throw that out there. Let's see. Okay, let me scroll down again, folks. If you want on the show tonight, best way is to be a good human. I'm just going to throw that warning out there again. Watching from Orange Beach, Richard says, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Kentucky losing is worse. You're saying losing to Kentucky is worse than this? That one was pretty demoralizing. This one just hurts in your gut because you knew you had this one. Yeah, it's a much different game when Auburn gets walloped and there's nothing you can really do about it. But when you had this one, you had it. It's tough to swallow. Miles asks, what are we missing? What do you mean? Are you asking what is the team missing? Are you asking what am I missing? What do you mean? Is that what you're asking? And there's a lot of comments coming in, so I'm going to miss some of the context of y'all's questions and stuff. So clarify, give me as clear, concise comments and questions as you can today. What are we missing? It's different things each game. We're going to walk through some of the stats here in a little bit, and I think that will answer the question for you tonight. Points in the paint really is a big thing. Turnovers. Once we finally walk through the stats here in a second, I will probably lean more so on the turnovers tonight than the points in the paint, but there is a large disparity in points in the paint tonight. A lot of that is eliminating Janai Broome from the game so early as they did. I think 6 minutes left, something like that. Yes, Devin, that was not a foul on Janai Broome. Dylan Cardwell also got fouled on his rolled ankle situation. By the way, has anybody got an update on Dylan? I'm really worried about him. My heart goes out to him because I just recently rolled my ankle in a very similar manner, and it was the opposite foot. But I can't watch those things. If you're a basketball player, you know how bad those moments hurt. Oh, it's the worst. No, I shouldn't say it's the worst pain in the world. It is one of the worst pains in the world to literally be standing on your ankle bone. And what a time to lose him too, when we already lost Janai, when we already lost Jalen. Yeah, Jalen was before that. Man. Think the team lacks a leader. There is no one who can be counted on to keep us out of these kind of situations. I disagree with that a little bit on Unbeaten Leg, just a little bit. I understand what you're trying to say. Like, there's no one who can be a lockdown guy like Jabari, but I think that's where we as fans have to realize, listen, you had a generational type of player in Jabari Smith who could take a game over in and of itself and throw Walker Kessler into the mix. And that's pretty insane. It's amazing that we lost as early as we did in the tournament. But Jalen Williams, to me, is your leader of this team. Now, he has worked hard, and Bruce Pearl has pushed him. I think I've heard him talk about this in a few press conferences about how much he's pushed him to be a more aggressive leader out there. And you've seen that, especially in this game. If he doesn't get eliminated from this game as early as he did, I think there was 3 minutes left, something like that. There's no telling what Jalen Williams would have done. He just does Jalen Williams things. So amongst all the angst and all the anger, I think we should recognize people that had really great games tonight. KD, Jalen Williams, Alan Flanagan had some really big moments tonight. Also a few moments that were a little bit lackluster, but man, he made it when he's count. So you've got all these guys that have been here for a little while making plays, but it's still just not enough. It's always like there's one piece missing every single night. What happens when all the pieces come together? Richard says, we helped Bama win the SEC title outright. So did everybody else that they beat. I don't mean to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's not like we did it. They had to beat everybody else too. So everybody helped them win that, as it would be in any other circumstance. Let's see. Reminds me of the show Get Smart on these last couple games. Missed it by this much. I don't know that show, but I'm guessing that's a reference to that. WT, good to see you. Thanks for being here. KD knocking down that shot late was beautiful. Let's see. Kentucky lost to Vandy tonight. I had no clue, guys. I think I was glued in on this, but so here's what you need to take away from the SEC. And I know it sounds cliche this year. Anybody can beat anybody this year. I mean, truly, this is a league that if the Big 12 right now wasn't so competitive as they are and look so good and beating each other every night, but beating everybody else, the SEC probably would be the most competitive conference. I mean, and probably be the best conference. Big 12 is clearly that right now. But the SEC, literally, anybody can beat anybody. So you should feel a lot better about that Vandy loss. Of course, there's also that other loss and that other loss and that other. We all loathe it, man. It sucks. It really sucks. Let's see. And somehow Quinn pushing down Broom very hard was out on Auburn. Quinn putting down Mark. Who am I missing? Are you talking about Quinn from Alabama? I mean, it is what it is. The call didn't go our way. Rhodes, good to see you. Football's going to be like this too. All right, let me skip ahead here. We're getting a little bit behind in chat here. There they start to come. Here they are. Here they are. I knew they were coming at some point. Yeah. Come on in. Come on in, Bammers. I know. It must make you feel real good to come over to another team's channel and to anonymously behind a account come and throw shade all the place. Come on. We're eating it up over here. But just be warned, you're welcome here as long as you behave. If you don't behave, we'll boot you. Jay Smith here. So they must be really coming in now. Let's see here. I got to take some anxiety pills. Yeah. Rise Life. I think you need to take a chill pill, buddy. I love you, but you need to take a chill pill. Gregorio says the game was a great one. Just sucks that we couldn't pull it off in the end. I'm 21 years old and my wife found a gray hair on me the other day. I told her it's the price of being a Barner. Yes, it is. That is the life of being a Barner fan because, man, those highs are sweet. Ooh, but those valleys get down there really low. Josh says Katie really hurt us with bad shots, not getting the shot off and poor passing decisions. 6 trips in a row. All of this happened, and that was one stretch too many. He also kept us in the game when we had no business being as close as we did at times. So, Katie, listen, this is what you're always going to get with Katie. Katie is an enigma. He's a nightmare unto himself. He is our little psycho. And I will take that, the frustrations that come with him because of what he's able to do when seemingly nobody else can. So I acknowledge that Katie is not as consistent as I would love for him to be, but I will take Katie Johnson in moments like he did towards the end of the game, knocking down that 3. The no, yes factor of Katie Johnson's incredible. Yahari, yes, I think Auburn deserves to be in the tournament. Will they be in it? No. Or I shouldn't say no. Right now, I don't think they will be because they will need to beat Tennessee and or have a great run in the tournament. I think we are just missing just enough to make this tournament. And that's just me more so trying to prepare myself for that reality happening. I think we've been given a lot of grace by commentators, by prognosticators, predictors of the tournament. And I really do think that we have the clock has struck midnight. Don't let it get to 12:01. It could be bad. Okay, let's see here. Trying to see if we got any more relevant comments on here. No offense, guys, but football is not really relevant to this right now. Love y'all, but remember in basketball, losing a game in OT to a top team helps you. It's not like football. I would disagree a little bit with that, WT. Yes, perception wise, because there's a lot of perception angles that you can take with committees and stuff in basketball. Yes, that is true. But I don't think it's as significant as maybe you're saying here. Maybe I'm misunderstanding you, but I think you're putting a little bit too much significance on that. All right. So going to keep moving forward here in the comments because we're getting way far behind. I do want to hit some of the stats here in a little bit because I think that's important to the conversation tonight. We'll do that. Some of that I'll just kind of check here. Bama should have had 4 players ejected because they ran way past half court. I'll be honest with you, Josh. I really will. I'm shocked that they had any, just because that's the way things go for us. I mean, I'm honestly shocked that they ejected who they did. I was happy with that. I was still confused with why they shot free throws at the end of that thing. Of course, there was a lot of emotions running there with me. So yeah, maybe there's a fourth one. The fact of the matter is, one of their, especially Bediako, I think his name is, key player was out. Bad part was Janai got his 5th in that process too. So any advantage that we gained by their big man going out, we lost with our big man going out. And you could just see it start to happen. You know, we lost, went on that scoring drought as we typically do. And then we lost Janai, then we lost Jalen, and then Dylan got hurt. And then we just, at that point, you're really hoping for a miracle because you've got all your guards out there, basically, and Chris Moore, and hoping for the best. Is not devastating to me. Maybe you're just trying to say there's putting too much emphasis on that. Maybe that's what you're trying to say. I got you. Yeah, I think we've covered that, Andrew. This is not a question of refs and things like that. Decision making in the last 10 minutes is what killed us. That could probably be attributed to some of the turnovers too, probably. So let's look at that. So, all right, let's keep moving forward. Let's look at some of the stats. You can keep the comments and questions coming. We'll address them as appropriate. Your leading scorer tonight, Katie Johnson. So as much as we've talked about, he is an enigma and he is our little psycho. He'll scream yes, 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 and no, 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 and then yes, yes, yes again every time he has the ball. But it's 21 points tonight and 36 minutes of play. He had to play a lot tonight. And thankfully, he made the most of that leading scores tonight. Alan Flanagan with 17s is your second leading scorer. Jalen Williams, 15. Wendell Green and Janai Broom with 10 and 9. Excuse me. Wendell was 9. Janai with 10. What else here? Trey Donaldson with 7 tonight. Trey had some really solid moments tonight, and I really like that. You know, some people are going to say, why would you play him more? Anybody can have a really good stretch. And that's what you want. You want those few minutes that they come in to be very productive. So they start earning more trust. It's always about trust, about when coaches put people out there. Not say Trey hasn't put that work in and hasn't done that, but there's other people that are obviously warranting playing before him. But happy to see in I don't have the plus minuses in front of me, but I would imagine he has a high plus minus tonight. 7 points, 3 for 4 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3-point land. Only 1 personal foul, 1 turnover himself. So yeah, probably a high plus minus tonight for him and only 17 minutes of play. Chris Moore and Berman get 3 apiece. Cardwell got none and Jasper got none tonight, but those aren't shocking numbers. They're not our big scores anyway. So Auburn got the points from players that they needed, just not, enough in certain areas. Oh, I'm glad to hear that you miss Ben. Ben is very busy these days. But he'll probably be back to do something on the channel in football season. Thank you for. I usually don't talk about football during basketball shows, but since I love it when you guys shout out other people other than me. Josh, what do I say? What do I say? You've been here long enough. What do I say? Free throws will win and lose championships. That's it. Period. Over. Done with. You make your free throws, you typically have a really good shot at winning the game. There are other problems that we need to talk about in the stats. 63% is not the worst we've done. 15 of 24 from the free throw line. But what if they make those free throws? But you can play that game in any category, really. But free throws, man, they're free for a reason. Take them. Take them. Well, if you live and die by the 3, you can't depend on it winning a natty. The 2019 team would disagree with you, Debbie. They lived and died by that 3, and if it wasn't for a double dribble not called and a questionable foul called, they probably would have won a national title because Texas Tech did not deserve to be in that title game that year compared to the team they played them and got walloped by. I think Auburn would have waxed them even further. Should we give Chance Westry a chance? I see what you did there in the Tennessee game. No, or I shouldn't say no. I keep answering before I explain myself. The reason I would say, in my view, based on what I understand Bruce is doing, no, you don't just throw someone out there when there's so much on the line. Now, if this is a season where nothing else is going to happen, Auburn is still a lot on the line here. You don't really change things up. Chance may not, his ankle may not be ready. Or was it his knee? Yeah, knee, I think it was. It may not just be 100% ready. Sometimes these things take much longer than we expect. We saw Allen deal with the lasting, lingering effects of his injury last year. And a lot of it is mental too. So sometimes you need a full year to get back in that. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do that. Let's see here. So Devin, I'm trying to keep up with all the comments and commentary. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to hit everybody's comment tonight. So sorry about that. There's a lot going on here that I'm trying to manage. All right, we'll keep walking through some of these things here. We talked about the scores tonight. Anybody have a player of the game? I know that y'all are upset. You should be. But if you had to give a player of the game, who would that be tonight and why? Share with me that in the comments. In the meantime, let's look at some of the team stats tonight. Auburn, 46% from the field, pretty dang good. 3-point percentage, 60. That's what Auburn did what they had to do scoring wise, which they typically don't do to win this game. Even with an abysmal free throw percentage of 63%. I still say we did enough 3-point wise, overall shooting wise to win this game tonight. In the other stat categories is where the problem arises. Turnovers tonight, 18 turnovers. Now, Alabama was no careful team either with 14 themselves at home. But that goes to the nature of an emotional, really crazy rivalry. And yeah, it's just tough. Sometimes it really is just tough. Typically, Auburn gets about in the range of 8 to 11 turnovers a game. 7 more than you might average is really, really going to hurt you in the long run. Katie Johnson, hands down. Let's see. Leor Berman, player of the game because he's the best player on the team. Andrew, I know you mean that rudely, and that's you're wrong for that. There's a lot of good players on this team, and Leor Berman, as much as I love him, is not the best player on this team, but he brings us something to the game. Katie, let's see here. Acceptable. 15 turnovers is bad. It's 18 turnovers. 18. I hope you heard me right on that. Hope y'all heard me on that. Kevin, good to see you. We need some of that positivity in here right now, man. Good to have you here. All right. What else? What else here? Other stats that stick out to me tonight, or just kind of running through the list here. Rebounds, we get the win, but it was basically a push 39-38 in both categories. It's pretty much the same thing there. Offensive rebounds, the same. Second chance points in our favor, but very small margin. Bench points in our favor, but a smallish margin. Points in the paint. 22 for Auburn, 42 for Alabama. It's weird. I've seen Auburn this season have so big a heavy swings where they just dominate points in the paint and then don't. It's the weirdest thing. And I feel like most of the time they've done very well in points in the paint, if not dominated. Tonight, that's not the case. So I think when you combine that with the turnover situation, which is unusually high for Auburn, that's what you really look at, the difference in the game. Alabama, I thought they had more than 5 blocks tonight. Auburn had 0. They had 10 steals. We had 7 steals. Both teams shared the ball reasonably well, or at least comparatively to each other, about the same. And fast break points were more in favor of Alabama. So when you look at a lot of these stats, either individually, when you look at these stats team wise, it's not really like one team. This isn't a Kentucky situation, right? It's just Auburn in these two key areas of turnovers and points in the paint really let things get away from them. And I would throw free throws in there, but I still think if you turn the ball over 5 times less, give them 5 less possessions, if you don't give them such a wide breadth of points in the paint, you win the game. Lots of ifs, buts, and candies and nuts. But it wasn't a Merry Christmas. Let's see. Some of the younger fans forget. I don't know what a lean year is. I can't remember suffering through multiple single-digit win season. Or you can remember. Sorry, I read that wrong. I wouldn't trade Pearl for anyone. I don't think anybody reasonable is saying that. There's a lot of people just being upset tonight because they think they can say things on YouTube channels and social media because they hide behind anonymous things because there's no consequences for it, as opposed to being a good human being. Just being honest. Oh, is Bruce going off about the officiating right now? Woo! I bet he is. So that must tell you something. He's done a good job of keeping himself in check, but I would imagine he's very upset about that charging the court situation. Again, still, frankly, I think we got more than we would normally get in that scenario. I just hope Dylan's okay. BP said after the game that he will most likely be out for Tennessee, which is not good. We're already very thin there. So what that means is you may see Traore get some minutes again because he's going to need to be moved into the fold there because that moves Janai and Jalen kind of into similar roles then. So I think you'll see Traore get a few more minutes. Maybe you'll see Stretch at home in senior day and get a few more minutes. I don't know. We let Quinterly play outstanding, just like the rest of the guards that played us all season. How did Quinterly do? Let's go look at him. Let's look at their players. Quinterly tonight, 24. Yeah. 7 for 12 from the field, 2 for 5 from the 3-point arc, 8 for 9 from free throw line, 6 assists. Yeah, it's a pretty good stat line for him with the technical too, but that's a pretty good stat line. We came very close to getting a lot of their guys in foul trouble. Just were not able to maximize, though, on some of those situations there. All right, so here's what I'd like to do. Final comments, questions, derogatory rebuttals in the chat right now. If you'd like to put them in, please do so. And we'll address some of those about the future of Auburn, about Tennessee going for it. I see some of those popping in right now. A couple reminders for you. Our next scheduled live stream will be post Tennessee. We will hopefully be celebrating a win. Will hopefully be that cap on the season that we need to get into the tournament. And that's what we'll be doing. So right after that game, be staying tuned for that. I probably won't be on campus this week, so it should be right after the game. Other than that, stay tuned from the channel because we got some other content for you coming out, baseball stuff, some football stuff with practice, and plenty of other things out there for you. So I hope to see you around the channel a lot. And as always, check out the links in the description for ways to help keep our lights on. You need to be subscribed. Like I keep hinting at, we're probably going to change our goal for the subscriber giveaway so we can get that giveaway done a little bit quicker. So if you haven't subscribed, do so. You can be a channel member. You could be a Booster Club member. All those things start at $1 a month. There's other things that you can do to help us out. But all we ask you to do is just be here, hang out with us, and spend some time talking about Auburn stuff with us. And smash the like button if you can do that. That'd be great. What's our current tournament standing in the SEC tournament? I think tonight the athletic department gave us an information saying, and if I read it correctly, they said we could finish before the results of tonight's game anywhere from 3rd in the SEC to 7th, and that's dependent upon the other games. So with this loss, I would imagine that keeps us out of the double bye. So we will be playing on Thursday because it usually is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yep. So we will be playing starting on Thursday. We've won enough that we won't be in the, at least as far as I understand, in, in the first night of play. So I would imagine my belief is that we're going to beat Tennessee, especially with the loss of Ziegler. I think someone posted that out or shared that in the chat just a little bit ago. So we will probably, if we beat them, I think we'll sit at about 5. I think we can manage 5. 6 seed with Vandy winning tonight. I'm not sure. That's a good point, though, Gregorio. That whole Vandy situation is a bit rough. Okay, we're gonna keep doing that until you learn to behave yourself. So sorry, love you. You've been here for a while, but if you're not going to behave yourself, then we're not going to engage with you. Sorry, buddy. What time does family night start? This is your Auburn family night tonight. Here is one good thing about tonight, folks. So those of you who don't know, we do a Wednesday night show, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I know it's Wednesday night, but obviously basketball got in the way of that. How dare it? We will be back on schedule with that going forward. I don't see any other conflicts for a while with that, and I'm looking forward to that. You can call in stuff, so I hope you guys can join us for that. Somebody always has a career or extremely rare good night against us. It seems that way, doesn't it? It would be interesting. I just don't have the energy to go back and look and name all the different guards. And it's just, I don't like to dwell and focus my content around negative stuff. That seems like something for some other people out there that they may enjoy. I'm not naming any names. I'm just saying, I figured there's some people that love to delve into negativity, but you could probably find a nice long list and this person in this game, this guard in this game, beat us. I would imagine this season it's somewhere in there. Playing in Neville, I feel like Auburn plays better. I like our chances. I agree. I have high hopes for that game, especially with it being senior night. We the main thing is I know a lot of people are frustrated right now, and I understand that, and I wholeheartedly agree with the frustrations. But so what I don't agree is how we handle the frustration sometimes, especially those of us that, again, hide behind anonymous Twitter and social media handles and say things that we would never say to an individual's face. But that being said, I think playing in Neville Arena is going to give us the advantage to beat Tennessee. What? Let's see. David, are you talking about something else, or are you saying this team? If I think the team played, there is not a lack of effort, desire, no effort questions on this team tonight. They're just not able to put a lot of fully complete games together. This team doesn't have right now that X factor, a Jabari, a Walker. So their mistakes, they have to be few and far between. And when they make those mistakes, they have to have something make up for it. And so that's what's been missing a lot. So whether it's Janai getting eliminated from the game a little bit too early, Wendell having not another great night for him, what we're accustomed to, turnovers being, there were just enough things in the negative column that we were not able to get over that hump. This team is a very good basketball team overall, just not good at closing. And the facts back that up. There's nothing wrong in admitting that and saying that. It's just at some point, you've got to learn how to be a good closer. The great thing is that Auburn has one more game in the regular season, at least one more game in the SEC tournament to figure out and prove to the nation, to the powers that be, the people that decide these things, that they deserve and be in the tournament and that they can finish. And I like our chances. We already hit the stats, Corey. I think you missed that. It's just a game by young guys. It's not that deep. I love to win, but losing no longer ruins my day. I think if you're someone that is, letting this ruin your night, then you got bigger issues than I can help you with. And I say that as someone who probably was in that category for a long time of my life. You would say, well, you do a channel about this. True. But I think I, at least on the surface, handle it a lot better. The times I don't handle it well, it's usually by myself. Those are some fun times. And W, thank you so much for being here. She's one of our Booster Club members. Thank you for your support and thank you for that reminder. It's always great to be an Auburn Tiger. It always is. Not any of that. So I'll be honest with you about and kind of wrap my thoughts up tonight. So final comments and questions. I know I've already said that, but we're having some good conversations here. Alabama is a good team, one of the best in the nation, but I think now after playing them twice, seeing where they've slipped up at times, they are not the best team in the nation. Now, when it gets to the tournament, they can prove all that wrong, right? But they will be a number one seed in my eyes. They will be favored to win a lot of their matchups and probably make it to the Final Four and stuff. So just go ahead and prepare yourself for that. So my hat's off to Alabama tonight. Played a little dirty, but hey, guess what? I don't expect any less. So it wasn't a shock to me. I was shocked that y'all got players kicked out. But yeah, so anticipate that. But congrats on the win. Congrats on sweeping the season. Congrats on your season tournament or season. I keep calling it the season championship. We'll see if you can finish it out for the tourney and all that. But there's a lot of basketball still left to be played. It's going to be over before you know it, folks. So trust me on this. I know that some of you are not handling the loss well tonight, but you will miss. You will miss basketball, but when it's gone. So enjoy it while it's here. Unbeaten Lake says it's a rebuilding year. Even Blue Bloods have down years. See Duke last year. And, well, Duke technically made it to the Final Four, right? But it was pretty down most of the year for them. I wouldn't call this a rebuilding year. I don't think it's personally, I don't like attaching the term rebuilding year simply because it didn't go how we as the fans perceived it would go, right? I think sometimes we have expectations that we're not aware of the full situation on the team. If you'll go back and look at a lot of Coach Pearl's, I'm remembering some of these now, press conferences and interviews and stuff. He was very excited about what this team could potentially be, but he was very cautious about what he said and expectations and things like that. In no way insinuating that this team was going to be bad or anything like that. But a lot of that in hindsight now kind of makes sense. And I know it's easy to say that in moments like this, but I do remember some of those things as someone who watches a lot of these and analyzes them and makes videos and other social media content about that. Great as always. Used to consume it, then I had kids and realized that's what's truly important. Well, and some of us, and I don't have kids yet, but some of us probably need that in our lives to realize how we act and behave on social media towards people could be a little bit different. Ooh, I just realized I got to do something a little bit. Thoughts on the new recruits and if Trey transfers because of the ones coming in. So you're talking about Aiden Holloway? Nah, I mean, unless you guys know something that I don't see Trey leaving. I think Trey knows that he's got a future here in the basketball team. He's a guard type that we don't have, and I think he brings a skill set that's very valuable to this team. I think what maybe you're thinking, country cutie, feels weird. No offense, it just feels weird for me to say that. I'll just call you, I don't know, CC. Why is that weird for me to say that? I don't know. But if you're talking about the recruits that are coming next year, I mean, Wendell will be gone by then. KD will be gone by then. Zepp's going to be gone after this year. So there's a place for Trey here as long as he wants to be. And to me, just to be, I don't know if you're insinuating this, that you're assuming those guys are going to start right away and take his job. Can I remind you, we all thought that was going to be the case with Chance and Trey Orr, and that's not a shot at them. It's just the reality of what's happened. Everybody was screaming, these guys are the second coming. And it just didn't work out that way. So I would say be cautious. Don't assume someone's going to just be gone. Now, if you know something I don't, please share. But I'm very happy to have Trey on this team and hope he stays for a while. First team to 65 wins Saturday. If we shoot like we normally do. Yeah. They may have problems with their guard being gone. Hard-fought games. Not many teams have played the number 2 team in the nation to an overtime game. War Eagle. Yep, I agree. There is some things to be proud of tonight. There are many things to be frustrated with. It sucks to watch this team continually be this close and fall short just again. But regardless of that, I hope in what will be the only guaranteed final 2 games that we can figure out what is missing this little bit and come together and become a good closing team. If we can do that, there'll be a lot of people, a lot of fair weather fans with egg on their face about this team. The chances of that happening, it seems, are very low right now. So I might be the one with egg on my face for saying that, and I accept that. But I hold out hope that they will be much better. But regardless of that, Auburn falls 85-90 in overtime in one of the most ugly arenas in all of college basketball. The Tide gets their regular season title, and we'll see them again maybe in the tournament if we do well enough and they do well enough. But we'll sit and watch that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here, hanging out with a longer post-game show and talking with me about something in the Auburn family spectrum. Hope to see you on the next post-game show this Saturday and around the channel in the meantime. Till we talk to you again. War Eagle.